When you hear this, what do you think of? How about this sound?
Can't help it, girl can't help it.
Or this? That's all pretty random, right? We've got a sample from a hip-hop pioneer from the 80s, a sample from a 50s rock and roll pioneer, and then we've got a very of-the-moment pop star of the first decade of the 21st century, right? But when you put them all together, you get this.
Can't help it, girl can't help it.
Welcome to Top 10 Takes, where I dive deep and review a song that peaked in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. This time we're talking about Fergie's 2006 hit, Clumsy, which peaked at number 5. So before we get into the actual song, let's talk about Fergie. Stacey Ann Ferguson got her start on the show Kids Incorporated, which I'm way too young to remember, but then she went on to form a 90s girl group with her co-star Renee Sands. That group was called Wild Orchid, and I actually remember one of their songs. They actually had some moderate hits, and I remember the biggest one. It was called Talk to Me, and it peaked at number 48. And they even did a cover of the Go-Go's Our Lips Are Sealed for the soundtrack to the Mike Myers movie, So I Married an Axe Murderer. If you were born after 1997, none of those words made any sense, and I apologize. Moving on. Unfortunately, Wild Orchid couldn't capitalize on the success of other girl groups in the 90s like the Spice Girls, TLC, SWV, En Vogue, who, in my opinion, Wild Orchid sounded a lot like. So Fergie left the group and made a savvy career move. She pivoted to hip-hop. Specifically, she joined an up-and-coming hip-hop group. They're called the... Here, hold on. Let me do some research. The Black Eyed Peas. Maybe you've heard of them? Yeah, this looks familiar. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I know this one. Oh, they did that one too. Oh.
Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoned.
Yeah, so Fergie became a superstar when she joined will.i.am and co. They racked up a ton of hits. Major, huge, monster hits. None of which we're going to talk about in this video, but maybe someday. So, a bit of background here. The Black Eyed Peas are an underground, alternative hip-hop group. They want to make it big, so they hire a white female vocalist to sing on the choruses and give them more of a pop approach to songwriting. And it worked. Surprise, surprise. Pretty smart business decision for everyone involved. Excellent work. So obviously Fergie stands out in the group. She has immediate, ridiculous star power. They have 2 huge albums with enormous hits. They conquer the pop charts and the world. So what's a girl to do next? Does anyone know? If you answered go solo, you are correct. Enter Duchess. Her solo debut album released in 2006 and a massive hit. Massive. The album had 6 singles. 3 of them went to number 1. 1 reached number 2, and then there's Clumsy, the 5th one released and the one we're going to talk about today. The song was written by Fergie and will.i.am, and he also produced the track. It's also got a songwriting credit for Bobby Troup, who wrote The Girl Can't Help It, the 1950s Little Richard song from the 1950s movie, The Girl Can't Help It, that was sampled in Clumsy.
Can't help it, girl can't help it. Can't help it.
There's another prominent sample here, is the other one we were talking about, those computerized bleeps and bloops you hear through the whole track. Those are from way back in the 1980s, specifically a rap song from Jimmy Spicer called The Bubble Bunch.
The Bubble Bunch.
Rockin' to the beat. So I don't get to do a top 10 take video for either of these songs, unfortunately. The Girl Can't Help It only made it to number 49, and The Bubble Bunch, it didn't chart at all. But if I were going to, hypothetically, I would give them both the same score, an 8. They're both classics. But okay, back to the more recent past. Is Clumsy a classic? At least of its era. There are better known Fergie songs like Glamorous and London Bridge and most of the Black Eyed Peas singles from those first 2 albums she was on. And of course, Fergalicious. I feel like Clumsy is kind of forgotten, at least compared to everything else Fergie was doing during this time. But here's the thing about Clumsy. It's a better pop song than all of those other songs. It's true. I said it. It's out there. Look, all the songs have their own charm or charisma or hooks or novel music video, but Clumsy has the whole package. Observe, if you will, Exhibit A. Just listen to everything else on the album, The Duchess. There's big ballads like Big Girls Don't Cry, heavily produced will.i.am shtick that just sounds like Black Eyed Peas leftovers. Not leftover Black Eyed Peas. That's different. That's a different thing. You should actually throw those out. They've been in the fridge a while. Clumsy is none of that. It doesn't sound like anything else on the album, and at the time it really didn't sound like anything else in pop music, period. Maybe it was the samples used, the glitchy, minimal beat from hip-hop's old school, the generous usage of a deep cut from the innovator, originator, and architect of rock and roll, or maybe it's Fergie's vocals. She's typically known for belting out some showstoppers.
Let's get it started.
And she's also known for rapping.
Fergie, Fergie, me love you long time.
But on Clumsy, she's more breathy, more flirty.
First time that I saw your eyes.
Minus the ad-libs at the end where she goes full Fergie and it's awesome. And then there's the layered trippin', stumbling part on the chorus. You know the one?
You got me tripping, stumbling, tripping, stumbling.
It makes it sound like she's got backup singers, like she's Ronnie Spector or something like that. And then that spoken interlude about the love bug biting her. You know the part.
The love bug crawls right back up and bites me, and I'm back.
It makes me think of Leader of the Pack by the Shangri-Las.
Whether you heard, I'll never know.
Look out, look out, look out, look out!
So yeah, I'm getting like 60s girl group vibes throughout the whole song, which is kind of a callback to Fergie's days being in a girl group in the 90s with Wild Orchid. Clumsy has real throwback vibes from all different eras of popular music, while still sounding like it's from 2006. Fergie is a well-known pop music chameleon. I think she can make most songs work in her favor. Of many, many styles, she knows how to play the part. Clumsy is no different. She's even said publicly that the song is not autobiographical, that she's usually in a serious relationship, unlike the protagonist in Clumsy. So while the lyrics are standard pop song stuff, and sometimes they come off as a little, what's the word? Anyway, Fergie makes them convincing. She's also very fun in the video. Let's talk about this video. It's a feat of green screen magic through the whole thing. I love the whole pop-up book concept. Seriously, I know there are better remembered moments in Fergie's career, visual moments, but I think Clumsy, the video, should be up there with them. The whole thing is entertaining and it fits well with the song, especially the first setting where she's a singer from the big band or jazz era. All of Fergie and will.i.am's output, especially during this era of pop music, is usually so loud and maximalist and in your face. I'm thinking of stuff like Boom Boom Pow and My Humps. So Clumsy really stands out in a great way. It's fun, flirty, retro. It's not one that would probably pack the dance floors in 20 years, but it's definitely fun in the car. I can attest to this. In fact, very recently. And I think the production and the sample usage give it more of a timeless feel than almost any other big Fergie hit. It's got staying power and it doesn't really sound like it's aged much. And you can't really say that about something like London Bridge, for example. So for me, Clumsy gets an 8. Thanks for watching this episode of Top 10 Takes. If you've got a track you want me to review, drop it in the comments. Also, please like and subscribe. I'm back doing videos again. Sorry for the long hiatus. I've had some major life changes going on recently, but hoping to be back making a video for you guys every week. I'm Ben the Playlist Fiend, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.